Let's get straight to the point. Number 7, the vacuum gun plant. You probably think of plants as these chill, stationary organisms that just photosynthesize and mind their business. Cute assumption, but completely wrong. Meet Utricularia, the bladderwort, and it's not waiting around for dinner to wander by. It's operating a biological vacuum gun. This aquatic hunter has tiny bladders scattered across its body, and here's where it gets disturbing. The plant actively pumps water out of these bladders, creating negative pressure inside like a loaded spring trap. When a microscopic prey touches the trigger hair on the bladder door, the trap door flies open in less than a millisecond. That's faster than you can blink, faster than you can sneeze. The water rushes back in with such force that it creates a suction vortex, dragging the prey inside before it even realizes what's happening. It's a hydraulic ambush. The bladder snaps shut and digestion begins while the prey is still wondering why the water suddenly turned hostile. This isn't passive carnivory. This is high-speed mechanical execution. If plants had resumes, this one would list vacuum assassination as a core skill. So next time you're near a pond, remember that beneath the surface, there's a plant that hunts faster than a bullet. Number 6, the invisible UV bait. Ever wonder why bugs seem magnetically drawn to certain plants even when there's no visible nectar or scent? Here's the twisted answer. Some carnivorous plants fluoresce under ultraviolet light, and insects see UV light way better than we do. What looks like a boring green leaf to you is basically a neon all-you-can-eat sign to a fly. It's called UV fluorescence, and it's pure deception. These plants are emitting wavelengths that trigger the insect's visual system to scream, "Food here." The bug lands, expecting a meal, but instead becomes the meal. It's like if your GPS led you to a restaurant, but the restaurant was actually a bear trap. Scientists discovered this by photographing carnivorous plants under UV cameras, and the results were disturbing. The traps glowed like nightclub dance floors. The plants aren't just sitting there, they're actively advertising using a spectrum of light invisible to most predators, including us. It's stealth marketing for murder. The insect thinks it's making a smart survival choice, but it's actually responding to biological clickbait designed millions of years ago. Nature's original catfish. Number 5, the corkscrew of no return. Let's talk about Genlesia, a plant that doesn't bother with flashy traps or moving parts. It just builds an underground labyrinth of horror. This plant grows corkscrew-shaped tubes beneath the soil, and here's the genius part. The tubes are lined with inward-pointing hairs, kind of like a lobster trap or a hotel you can check into but never leave. Microorganisms swimming through the water get funneled into these spirals by fluid gradients and geometric design. There's no suction, no snapping, just pure cold physics. The prey drifts deeper into the tunnel, and every attempt to reverse course is blocked by those one-way hairs. It's like being stuck in a revolving door that only spins in one direction, and that direction ends in a digestive chamber. Scientists call this a passive trap, but let's be real. There's nothing passive about designing an inescapable architectural nightmare. It's the botanical equivalent of a black hole. You don't see it. You don't feel it. You just realize too late that the current only flows one way, and that way is death. No muscles, no nerves, just intelligent design that makes you wonder if plants are way smarter than we give them credit for. Number 4, the plant that counts to 2. You've probably heard of the Venus flytrap, but here's what most people don't know. This plant can count. Seriously. The Dionea muscipula has trigger hairs inside its trap, and when something brushes one hair, the plant does nothing. Why? Because it's not stupid. A single touch could be a raindrop, a falling leaf, or a false alarm. So the plant waits. But if a second touch happens within about 20 seconds, the trap slams shut. This is electrical signal integration. The plant is literally keeping track of stimuli over time and making a decision. Touch it once, you're fine. Touch it twice, you're lunch. But it gets even better. The more the prey struggles inside the closed trap, the more the plant ramps up digestive enzyme production. It's counting the touches to confirm, yes, this is definitely food and not a pebble. This is plant cognition. It's processing information, filtering out noise, and adjusting its response based on data. It's doing basic math without a brain. If you think that's not creepy, imagine a houseplant silently tallying every time you brush past it, just waiting for the second touch to activate. Number 3, the underwater assassin. Think carnivorous plants are only a land thing? Meet Aldrovanda vesiculosa, the water wheel plant, and it's basically a Venus flytrap that decided to go aquatic. This free-floating hunter drifts through ponds and lakes with snap traps arranged in a wheel formation. When a tiny crustacean or insect larva touches the trigger hairs, the trap snaps shut in about 10 to 20 milliseconds. That's underwater, with water resistance. This plant overcomes fluid drag to execute a mechanical snap faster than most predators can react. It doesn't root. It doesn't flower much. It just hunts. The trap looks like a tiny clamshell lined with interlocking teeth, and once it closes, there's no escape. Digestion happens while the prey is still alive, dissolved slowly by enzymes in a liquid tomb. What's terrifying is that this proves snap-trap carnivory isn't a one-off evolutionary fluke. It evolved independently in water, meaning nature said, you know what? Let's make plants that eat animals in every ecosystem. If you're swimming in a still pond and feel something brush your leg, it's probably not this plant. Probably. But now you'll think about it every time. Number 2, the rain-powered flick trap. Here's a plant that weaponizes the weather. Nepenthes gracilis, a tropical pitcher plant, has a lid over its trap that's slippery and spring-loaded. When a raindrop hits the lid, it flicks downward like a catapult. Any insect hanging out under the lid, thinking it found shelter from the rain, gets launched directly into the digestive fluid below. It's a mechanical trebuchet powered by environmental energy. The plant doesn't move on its own. It doesn't use muscles. It just engineers a trap that uses rain as the trigger mechanism. Scientists measured the physics of this and found the lid snaps down and back up in milliseconds, converting raindrop kinetic energy into a violent flick. It's passive-aggressive carnivory. The plant is literally saying, oh, you thought you were safe from the rain? Let me introduce you to something worse. Insects that survive the fall into the pitcher fluid then have to deal with the fact that they're now swimming in a vat of digestive enzymes, drowning while being chemically dissolved. It's efficient. It's horrifying. And it's proof that plants can use external forces as weapons without lifting a finger, or a leaf, whatever. Number 1, the catapult tentacle. Finally, we've arrived at the apex of plant aggression. Meet Drosera glanduligera, the catapult sundew, and it doesn't wait for prey to get stuck. It throws them. This Australian nightmare has modified tentacles on the edge of its leaves that act like loaded springs. When an insect touches one of these marginal tentacles, the tentacle doesn't just bend. It catapults the prey toward the center of the leaf in less than 75 milliseconds. Picture a medieval trebuchet, but microscopic and made of plant cells. The insect gets flung into a forest of sticky glandular hairs in the center, and those hairs immediately start bending inward to lock the prey down for digestion. It's a 2-stage ambush. First, the perimeter tentacles launch the victim, then the interior tentacles pin it. There's no escape. Scientists discovered this by using high-speed cameras because the movement is too fast for the human eye to catch. This is one of the fastest known plant movements on Earth, and it's being used for active predation. The plant isn't waiting, it's hunting, it's grabbing, it's executing. If you ever wanted proof that evolution can turn anything into a killer, here it is, a plant with a ranged attack. If you made it through without looking at plants differently, you weren't paying attention. These things hunt, count, and execute faster than you blink. Hit that like button, share with a friend who thinks nature is cute, and subscribe to Nature Gets Weird. We've got more wild nature facts dropping soon. See you in the next one. And try not to touch any suspicious leaves.